Good morning, everyone. This is the Oxbridge Building Committee meeting scheduled for the 11th of May. It's now 10 o'clock, a little after 10. And so let's get started if we may. Welcome all. Our first order of business is to approve the minutes of the April 13th meeting, our last meeting. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to either look at the copy or whatever. Are there any corrections or additions? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve. Does anyone want to give me a motion to approve the minutes?
Dan moves.
Motion to approve.
Dan moved, and who seconded?
Sean.
John. All in favor indicate by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? It is carried. Next order of business is to review the payment application number 16, in the amount of $1,776,383.78. I'll give this over to David and George.
Okay, as Kip was saying, we're billing the $1,776,383. 383. The breakdown, we have Steel Tech, which installing the rails on Stair 1, architectural woodwork, just the cabinets, in the rooms, all the cabinetry, countertops, general trades. They've been in charge of lockers. We've been putting in lockers, toilet accessories, toilet partitions, roofing. There's just this was actually an install of I guess what we call like dog houses for the condensate piping. Sprayed applied fireproofing. That was just for some touch up and things of the intumescent columns. Fire stopping, just the fire caulking and assemblies that are kind of between the curtain walls, between the floors and the curtain wall areas. Aluminum storefronts, just continuing with curtain walls, aluminum doors, gypsum board, just the soffits and taping all the gypsum wall board. We've been working mainly in the lobby area. Acoustical ceilings, or kind of acoustics, doing the acoustical ceilings, the grid, padding, flooring, or just continuing with the flooring, the vinyl flooring in the classrooms, painting walls and classrooms, corridors, fire protection, mostly installing sprinkler heads in the ceilings. Plumbing, I think you'll see a credit. I think they were taking the credit for the, they've been putting in plumbing fixtures and all that, but you'll see a negative because back we approved the credit for the temp heat fuel allowance. So, that ended up being a credit on the pay app. But HVAC, just, boiler startup, putting in registers, diffusers, and grills. For electric, just installing light fixtures, fire alarm devices, those kind of things. Shea Electric, just, speaker systems, telephone data cabling. And then Sean's Lawn, they've been working kind of around the perimeter, building, the perimeter road and doing some of their rough grading, getting the road, prepped for asphalt. And then that's it. So that's a total of $1,765,000, and then with the retainage, we have the $1,776,000. And there is some stored offsite material we're carrying for the food service equipment. So the bulk of that equipment's been purchased and it's stored offsite. that'll be put in for the next phase.
George, you still have roofing material stored off site, don't you? Because I thought you
That's
had to take
correct.
all. Okay,
Yeah, it's the material for the phase 2.
right.
Because we have it
Okay.
stored off site.
Are there any questions about this pay application? I'm going to move that we approve the pay application as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Rusty seconds. Okay. Is there any further discussion about this pay application? Hearing none, all in favor indicate their approval by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Progress report. George, I guess Scott's busy, so he won't be able to join us today. So give us a quick run through where we are. I thought one of those pictures of the courtyard is very interesting.
Yeah, I can. I'll run through that. Yeah, Scott is in another meeting, so just I'll go through the summary data. We're still projecting substantial completion on the 9th. And then the site work and assembly wing, that has not changed. Our projections percentage wise, budget, we're still looking at a pretty healthy contingency of $1,057,000. But going through the process of pay change orders and such. So we're still in good shape, the financially.
George, can I just interrupt for a second? I think
Sure.
last month I did the computation, and between all the allowances that we have, that is the owners, the contractors, the construction manager, the allowance, and not including the money that's hidden in each of the subcontractors' contracts, which is another allowance area. But the amounts of those three buckets, we had over 3.1 million at the end of last month available, or 72% of the original forecasted amount, which I think is pretty healthy at this stage of the game. At least I'm hoping most of the big surprises are out of the way. So I'll do the same computation with regard to this month, and we should be in pretty good shape.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. I think at this point, it's pretty, the contingency is pretty healthy. So, and then, as far as ASI's proposal requests, we had 5 RFIs issued this period. One proposal request that's in the courtyard. Most of that was the guardrail in the courtyard, some revisions, and then what PCOs that approved this month. We had the ADA door operators, and actually the condensate pipe shack. Those two are scope gaps, if you will, kind of shown on the plans, and I didn't really assign it to any contractor. So the ADA operators, those are on the exterior doors. You push the button and it assists with the door opening. And then the condensate pipe shacks, that's up on the roof for the piping for the condensers. It's just like a doghouse type thing. And then as far as procurement issues, metal siding panels, we've had a delay. They were scheduled to be shipped on. Well, we got the metal panels for the front, and those have been, probably finish up installing them today, actually, or by the end of the week. And then metal panels around the perimeter of the building was scheduled to ship last Friday, May 6th. So we're kind of hunting them down now to see, if they were shipped and what might be the delivery on the job site. And then, the other materials, for the most part, I think we have either on site or they're, we know the dates where they're shipped. The marker boards, they're actually shipping on the 13th, and we should see them, on site probably Tuesday next week. But the brackets, everything's gone in. Talked about the ADA door operators, stainless steel handrail guardrails. they're scheduled to be fabricated May 26th. So I think they're still on track for the 26th of May. But if we have to, we'll do some temporary handrails, guardrails for the TCO. And as far as schedule and progress, I actually the photos in the monthly report were done probably April 18th. So I took some more recent photos. So this is actually on the roof looking north on the courtyard. Just what's kind of left is just landscaping, and then we have the handrail and then the guardrail that remains.
George,
George,
when's the landscaper slated to start?
Next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
George, this is Diana.
Sure.
Yeah, just I want to say, as Kip mentioned, really exciting to see the progress on the courtyard and see it all come together. Great photo. Thanks for sharing that. Quick question on that. Those yellow rails on the roof, is that temporary?
Yes. That's temporary.
Kind of guardrails for work during the work.
That's
okay,
correct.
Just want to confirm.
Yep. Yeah. Those are temporary. So that's just to keep safe. So those eventually will go, and then you can kind of see the where the where the coping is, or the fascia. So that's what will remain. And then the reason it's not continued, this is going to be that the metal siding, the silver. So that's part of what was scheduled to ship last week and coming in. So wherever you see kind of this yellow or open spot, they're here and here. That's where that metal siding goes.
And George, those materials that we're waiting on for the panels, those are also the materials that are being used to enclose the rooftop equipment, right?
Yeah, it's similar. It's not, they're it's the rooftop equipment. Yeah, they'll be enclosed by it's a perforated, stainless steel, but they're coming with the metal siding.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
But it's like a perforated stainless steel that goes on the roof.
Hey George, it's Duke. When you say metal siding or perforated, I was up there last week. Are you talking about the metal that frames the windows that butt out on the ELP wing? Is
Correct.
that also the similar metal framing?
Yeah, that's the metal. Yes, that's the metal siding. Yeah, and the ELP wing.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Stair 2 that it goes up on Stair 2, and then like in between these windows right there, there's some of the metal siding.
Thank
I
you.
may have missed that. What's the schedule of arrival of those materials? What's the expected date now?
It was scheduled to ship Friday, and we thought we would have it, here like now. It's just we haven't had confirmation yet that it did ship Friday, so we're kind of trying to hunt down where all that is. So I suspect if we don't see it this week, it'll probably be early next week, maybe. But we're trying to get confirmation from the manufacturer that it did get shipped. We haven't been able to yet. But we did. And then this is the the main entrance. As you're coming into the lobby, kind of looking into the courtyard. Then going around the building. This is the southeast corner. This is where we had our temp heater. And then there's the retaining wall, and then this is what Sean's lawn been kind of building the road around on the perimeter. And then this is where the ELP, in this corner would be the ELP playground area. Yeah, and that's just turning the corner going, down the south end of the site.
And George, those yellow spots again are where the metal grate.
This is where you'll see the metal. Yeah, yep. This is the insulation, and then this is where you see this yellow Roxwell insulation. That will be the metal panel.
George, a quick question too. The photos that were included in the package had a photo in this area with some standing water. Since the grade is so close to the exterior grade is so close to the floor level, we've addressed that, and that's going to be more carefully addressed with the finished landscape plan. It's just
Yes. Yeah.
to raise that one more time.
Yeah. Yeah. This is probably, where the subgrade is, and then, this is where the road will be, and you're right, it's close, but we've also, and we'll probably talk a lot of touch on it on that PR for the landscape revision. They did add like a stone mulch or mowing strip, if you will, around the perimeter of the building, which will help with that as well. And then there is extensive, drainage on both sides. It's just, the grade's not being final. You will see the puddles, but also to alleviate that part of that change for the landscaping, we were putting like a stone mulch all the way around the perimeter of the building, a stone strip. So that will help all that as well, the standing water.
I think this is Kip. I think to add to what Diane's asking about is that there is a lot of drainage pipes that have been put in. You don't see them on the surface now because they're buried, but there's just an awful lot of drainage pipes that are already in place. Yeah. Hopefully, the work is designed. I know that under the building that everything goes out. It doesn't flood.
Right, and then there's one right here. You'll see there's a yard drain there, and then we are going to add the stone. So, and then again, that's kind of looking north, going around the perimeter. That's like the speech therapy rooms are here, so kind of in the middle of B and C. That's what you see, the curtain wall there. This is C down at the lower west, I guess. And then this is where the assembly wing is going to be eventually. Come out. This right here is like a temporary wall, and then this is just the egress, out of that lower area. So this will just be used as emergency egress when we're, in the next phase, and then this will be asphalt, paving up to it. This is the front entrance. We did get the blue panels for the front entrance, so they're finishing up by the end of the week. They'll actually have all that finished. They have the wall panel finished, and now they're working on the on the ceiling. And that's just from the gate down, looking south. Inside, this is going into like the end, the north end, by the ELP. These are the support offices. The nurses station is kind of off here, looking down towards the lobby. Yeah, and that's one of the rooms. And since we've started padding this out, and should be ready for the flooring by next week. That's looking down the ELP corridor, going from north to south. This is in the nurses area, just some of the casework that's been installed. Now we're in the lobby area, looking towards the courtyard. Same thing. This is like the vestibule, and then this is the lobby. No, this is the vestibule actually, and then we're in the lobby looking through the front entrance. This is above the ceiling. That's where this longboard ceiling is, the metal panel ceiling in the lobby. So that's all framed. And actually, tomorrow we're getting the delivery of the longboard ceiling, so we'll be starting that. This is kind of where the administration desk will be. And then this down in the corner will be the, that's the admin area. Can kind of looking in the admin area, looking out. And that's looking down the admin area, conference room.
George, this is Amy. I have a quick question about that admin area. Will the interior storefront be installed, before all of the finishes and all that? Yeah.
The interior storefront will be installed. Yeah, that's actually probably start like next week, probably middle end of next week.
And George, we have all the aluminum doors at this point, right? They're all there. We're just waiting to hang them just so they don't get damaged.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have all the aluminum doors. Yeah, and they're currently making those aluminum storefronts in the lobby or the admin area. So those are currently being made. Should have them done by the end of this week, and then after that, we have all the curtain walls, glass, everything else is on site. And this is the handrails and guardrails for Stair 1.
George, are we using a similar railing on the outside along the ELP wing on the courtyard?
Yes, I believe so. There's like they call that a bird's nest type.
Got me.
Yeah, and then this is the locker. We're kind of, on the main level, area C, looking south on the lockers. So by the end of the week, we should have the lockers complete. This is kind of like a typical room. The flooring's down. They're starting to put in, they've been installing the light shelves. And then they also, we're working on, this is like that vinyl wall covering behind the backsplashes. Yeah, again, this is main level, area B, just looking down the corridor, the common corridor. And then another classroom, just kind of typical. This is the, one of the MDF rooms or LDFs. So, the technology room. So they've been, running the cable, putting them on the racks, all that security and, telephone data. This is looking again in the courtyard, that one, the south elevation. Another one in the courtyard, looking at the west. So they have since finished the glass and putting in the doors. Then looking again down, kind of courtyard. Yeah, this is like the lower level, one of the common corridors. Toilet partitions, those are being installed. Should be complete this week. They have all the fixtures and everything. They've been working on the toilet accessories. This is another shot. This is actually the MDF room, the main distribution room, and down on the main lower level rather. Again, one of the common corridors. Toilet rooms, bathrooms. And then the boiler rooms. The boiler rooms have been started up. The water heaters we started up a while ago, so the boiler rooms started up. We're circulating the hot water, and then we've been this week we've started up starting up the VRFs. Getting those ready.
Remind us what VRF is.
I think it's variable refrigerant something. It's
Yeah.
that's essentially your primary heating and cooling for all of your classrooms.
Thank you.
There's one right in each classroom. It's, heating and cooling in the air. And then the fire pump, they've been finishing up doing the fire alarm wiring and all that, and then we have it scheduled to be commissioned or started up on the 23rd of this month, so another couple weeks. And the manufacturer will come up and we'll start the fire pump up, get that running. The hot water heaters, and then the main electrical room. So we do have the generator that's scheduled to be started and tested Thursday next week. And then the fire alarm panel is scheduled for Monday to be installed and tested and all of that, starting Monday.
Hey, George, a quick question on the generator. When they do the testing, will they take a sound decibel level and note it?
That I don't know. I mean, I could ask them. I typically haven't seen it done, but I'll ask if that's part of the test. If not, then we can, we could probably do some testing ourselves on the decibel levels.
George, with respect to the generator too, isn't there, as far as the finishes around the generator, we're not going to finish those until we do the academic wing, right? And isn't there some type of enclosure that is near there?
It's not an enclosure. It's the retaining wall. It's those block retaining walls.
Okay.
So because that sits down, it sits down because the grade, when we're doing the assembly wing, that grade will be picked up a good 4 feet. So it's a retaining wall that goes around that. I'm going to say probably the north side of that. It kind of sits in the gully there, if you will. So, I'm not sure if there's
George,
a house.
I think that Sean's comment's appropriate because it would be nice just to have for our own information in case the neighbors later on create an issue about it.
I'll when they come out and start it up or whatever, I'll ask the tech if they do the decibel levels. If not, then we could probably.
I would also caution Dr. Forshaw to maintain the various equipment rooms we see here, the electric boiler and everything else. It looks like a lot of storage area that might get used by mistake.
Mistake's the right word there. Yeah, Mike and I both.
Okay.
These are very large rooms, but there is a good sized storage room there too. So
good.
Yeah, and you definitely want to know
Hey,
the sound
Luke,
of that generator from the inside as well.
Sean, say that again, Sean.
I think my first point was, sound decibel levels, as Kip said, for the neighbors. But I also think Luke's going to want to know the volume of that generator when it's running from the inside of the building as well.
It'll definitely be improved from the existing one, only because it's quite a bit farther away from the building, and like I said, it kind of sits down, down on the, probably a good 5 or 6 feet below where the main level of the new building will be. So it's definitely be improved from what the existing is right now.
Anything else, George?
No, there's not any other questions.
Any questions? Moving on. The next item is, we talked about this in the past, the landscaping plan revisions. And I just wanted a formal motion to approve it, even though the subcommittee, construction oversight subcommittee could approve it. The total amount is $26,930, and I wanted to break that out for everybody so they understood what was going on. We're building that, again, that stone maintenance strip adjacent to the building on the south and west sides. This is basically to keep the lawnmowers away from the edge of the building. We're adding 9 green giant arborvitaes and 3 rhododendrons in the landscaping plan. These will primarily be put up on the southern property owned by the Hendricksons, and I'll be talking with them about their desire to have these on their property. It makes much more sense because of the very steep slope on our property. I've already talked with town council, and a short memorandum of understanding will be drafted up to avoid liability and maintenance issues. But this total cost comes out to be, the materials, the stone and the plants, about $7,500. Labor to do all this is about $11,200. You have overhead and profit of $2,800. And there's an allowance that George has put in for an arborist. We may or may not need an arborist to look at all of the trees and stuff for $5,000. So that's why the number is $26,930. Again, with a $5,000 allowance for an arborist, which we may or may not use. Since we discussed this last time, and we discussed going to the Hendricksons for some of the plantings, and I'm going to do that this week. I wanted to get a formal acceptance by the committee to approve this PCO number 49. So I'm going to move that we approve the PCO number 49 as presented, and as we presented last month. And I'm looking for a second on this motion. Rusty seconds.
I'll second it, Duke.
I already got Rusty. Don't thank you. Is there any other discussion concerning this particular change order? Hearing none. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? I'm sorry, who's opposed? Oh, no one's opposed. No abstentions. The motion is carried. Thank you. I've asked Jeff Adams then to talk about the technology equipment anticipated delivery in it. And while Jeff has been working hard with the vendors to find out when he can get his stuff, particularly switches, I want to say that after the discussion we had at last month's meeting, which is about whether we could buy the whiteboards from CBS and save some more money, the answer came back that we could, and we now, rather than having a $22,000 below budget number, we're now at $112,778 below our original budget estimate, which is good news. Jeff, if you want to bring us up to date where we stand with the deliveries of all the technology equipment.
Sure, no problem. So yes, all technology purchase orders have been delivered and acknowledged by the vendors. The one purchase order we're staying on top of is the one for the network switches. As Kip said, the network switches are the pieces of technology that are going to push the building. It's going to make the building work. Without the switches, we don't have cameras, we don't have access points, we don't have phones, we don't have anything. So the one vendor we're staying on top of is TBNG, who is now Vancourt. So you'll hear them interchange, TBNG and Vancourt. The bad news is they still do not have an ETA for the 17 network switches for the building. However, last night I received some good news. They have some older switches that they can install as soon as tomorrow temporarily to light the building. So they have these switches at their disposal that they can put in and we can light the building. So we can have everything up and running, all your HVAC, cameras. So I'll keep you updated as that goes in. Those switches will go in as soon as the data cabling is complete. And George, I'll continue to communicate with you to find out when that is.
Yep.
George?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll.
Okay. Very good.
We'll
and then the final piece is that I think D'Agostino is having an official kickoff meeting with the vendors tomorrow, and we'll get all the ETAs and deliveries from that meeting tomorrow with the members. So we'll keep you updated with that.
Thank you, Jeff. That's very helpful.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Jeff concerning the technology?
I just have one question. Is there anything we should be concerned about putting these alternate switches in temporarily, as far as, I don't know, any approvals we need for that, or it basically meets the specifications and everything, but anything we should be concerned about or prepare for because it's something temporary or different?
From a functionality perspective, these switches will work just like the new ones. I don't know from a certification process or anything on the back end.
All right, just want to make sure there's nothing that we need to be prepared for. I don't know, any and not my area of expertise, but just putting something in temporarily, just to make sure we've kind of done all our homework on it and made sure it's approved and acceptable. That's all.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeff. I put item 6 on the agenda, which sort of is a melange of various things going on, including the furniture deliveries, only because the last week of school, which school ends on the 21st, Friday, the week following that is going to be a very busy week to get ready for demolition, which begins on Monday, the 27th. And I thought everybody ought to just be aware that that's going to be a very kind of hectic week with boxes being moved and furniture being installed, things like that. So I put this down as an item to sort of discuss, and I wanted everyone to be aware that it is a critical week and it's going to be a kind of a crazy week. But I'll turn it over to George or Mike or whoever, or actually Dr. Forster as well, because he's got to move all the teachers, get their stuff out of their existing building and moved over into the new building. Whoever wants to comment on this crazy week, please step up now.
Hey, George, can you know the schedule better, but just as far as, from an expectation standpoint for building committee members and for possibly neighbors, as far as the actual raising of the building, that's
Right.
There's going to be a period of time before the structure itself is actually starting to be torn down, right? There's things that has to be done. So it's, what is that date that you're thinking will actually be taking the building down starting?
Well, as Kip was saying, the 27th is when we'll turn the building over to the demo and abatement. So they'll have to abate the building first, and then actually talking with Mike Feedy, the building inspector, yesterday. What he was saying that before we start any demo, and that includes like the 96 building, we're going to have the abatement complete, and then the letters, cutting the utilities off into him before we start any demolition. So we're kind of working that out now. But so what it looks like, on the 27th, they'll probably start setting up their containments and all that. There won't be a lot of noise. The priority, most of the work will be done inside the building. There is some contaminated soil we'll have to excavate and move off site. That would probably be done starting that week as well, the 27th. And then we'll probably have 10 days or so doing the abatement, and then these cutting utilities off and stuff. So after that, then we'll be starting with the demo of the building, and that would be where will be the noise and the dust and all of that. Actually physically demoing the building. So it'll probably be, probably 2 weeks, whatever that is, after the 27th. Probably that second week in July is when we'll be starting the full demolition. And then prior to that, the last day of school for students is the 17th. So from what I understand, teachers have the boxes. They'll be boxing up, whatever materials they're going to need for the, take with them for the new building, kind of that week. And then, if I'm not mistaken, like the 20th, Mike has movers coming in, and they're going to be moving the boxes, some of the furniture, like the temp furniture for like the calf and those type of things will be kind of moved that week. And then the teacher's last day is the 20th. And then that week, like I said, we'll be moving that, some of the stuff used for the temporary, and by the end of the week, everything should be done. And on the 27th, we'll turn it over to the demo, American Eagle.
Yeah, I can just jump in a little. We're going to be the generator down for the town.
Yep.
And that'll be the 21st. We've already been handing out boxes, and the teachers have been packing up, and we've been giving them new boxes. And what else? We're going to start demolishing we need out of the building, like some heating pieces and stuff. We're going to start that next week.
I can get some feedback.
All right, everybody can still hear me, but I can't hear anybody now that I got my phone on mute. So
we can hear you.
My computer speakers aren't working today. So let me just finish what I was going to say. My HVAC guys are going to go take some heating equipment out of the building now that the heat is turned off. Like I said, we're going to disconnect the generator and get it ready to be transported by Ed Gentile. We're going to have the boxes. We're going to have a crew in on Tuesday, the 21st, and they're going to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to empty out the building of all the furniture. We're looking at what to do with the classroom furniture that we don't have to reuse. They will be taking the music furniture, the cafeteria furniture, and the complete library and reassembling them in the new building. We should be able to get in there after the furniture delivery companies have used that space to put their furniture together and sort it out and get it set up to the new building. So we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add, the timeline's right. The only thing I'd add is that we've been packing since.
Unfortunately, I can't hear anybody.
Oh, Mike, he's still going. All I is that we've been packing up since April break on schedule, and we've let faculty know that that last day, the 20th, is their final day. They need to have all done, packed, and ready to move. So I think we'll be in good shape.
Hey, Luke, this is Duke and Mike. I know at the end of the year, teachers try and do a lot of cleanup, and last year, whatever, I was at Hinley and the maintenance guy was complaining about not having a big enough dumpster for what the teachers were cleaning up. So that's just end of year at a normal school. So we're moving. So I just want to make sure that the teachers feel there's enough dumpsters there and that this is a great opportunity not to move a lot of stuff into the new school, and it's time to really go through and clean up and get rid of stuff. It's kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I know a lot of stuff gets accumulated in these classrooms but let's make sure we have the right amount of dumpsters there so that the teachers and the maintenance guys feel we can unload that school and not move stuff that we really don't need into a new school.
You're on the same page with Mike, myself, our head custodian. We're all on the same page. It's a beautiful opportunity to purge and start anew. And credit again to the facilities department thus far, because every Friday since the April break, they've come out. Facilities have been helpful. Dumpsters on site. We've had a process by which we've said the teachers start to purge now. So you make a pile that's your pack pile, you make a pile that's your purge pile, and the guys are coming in and moving stuff in temporary storage for now so that, our classrooms aren't cluttered with boxes, and taking those purge files and systematically getting them into the dumpster. So we're using our dumpster every week to fill up and get it out.
Great, thank you.
Anything else on this topic?
This is Amy. I'd like to add a little something about furniture. It might really be number 7 because it's a new item in your agenda, but it's related to the furniture, so I wanted to mention it. Amanda was able to secure a quote for 8 new trapezoid tables for the DLC classroom. I believe that's the classroom on the main level. Luke, you can chime in. We had ordered desks for that room, which is typical for the other DLC rooms, but Luke pointed out that because of your enrollment and the anticipation that classroom will be used as a typical academic classroom sometimes, he would like that classroom be set up with the same furniture as other first grade and second grade classes. So what we've done is add 8 tables, which fills that room for student desks. And the quote that we received from W.B. Mason using their state prices is $3,112. I have that quote and I will forward it to you, Kip. I believe that this would come out of the savings that was acquired during the bid time of furniture for a combined furniture technology contingency.
Okay.
But it's a really minor amount, and it will allow to set up the way that.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. I appreciate the update. But just to be clear, we have our 2 dedicated DLC rooms. Those are ready to go. We were thinking about students and faculty, and we're good there. And if you recall, we've built for 24 sections along those pods. And the committee noted that there were, in each of those wings, there were 2 classes that could be swing space, depending on the total enrollment needs K-5. Well, our school is very popular, and we've got about 500 kids that we're enrolling next year. So we're going to have for 24 sections. So in looking at the furniture list that the architect team was good enough to get to me so I could share it to teachers, so they could get a sense of how to plan based on the actual furniture coming to their rooms, we picked up that in the DLC room in second grade, excuse me, I should say it this way, in the 4th second grade classroom, which is going to be a 4th second grade classroom, there was a designation that it could also be a DLC room, and the furniture that was originally planned for that room was going to be the typical desks that were for 3rd and 5th graders. And again, thanks to the team, I'm glad to hear that we were able to get the right furniture for 2nd grade for next year in there. That's helpful.
Great.
Okay. I'll send it forward, Amy. We'll get it given an approval.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else to discuss this morning?
I have a quick question for Amy. I did not receive the April invoice. It probably went to Nick. Nick is now working in New York most of the time. Could you get me a copy quickly and I'll process it for you?
Thank you very much. And yes, we'll do.
Thank you.
Just one more thing for Kip. ERV is variable refrigerant volume. It's a way you control temperature by controlling the volume of refrigerant. It's used for both heating and cooling. Just thought you wanted to know that for the minute.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. There are no public comments that I'm aware of, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn. No one wants to, okay, Marcy. Do I have second? Rusty, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any objections? The meeting is over. Thank you all very much for your participation.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day.